period as he hits center and across the line. Gretzky, you're in front, score! Wow!
The great one doing what he did 664 times for the Edmonton Oilers, scoring a goal, thrilling Edmonton fans. Until that day, August 9th, 1988, 25 years ago tomorrow, the day Wayne Gretzky broke hearts across this country. After 9 glorious NHL seasons, the unthinkable happened. The world's greatest player was heading south of the border. For all Canadian hockey fans, it's simply known as the trade. Well, tonight, 3 of Gretzky's closest confidants reveal the surprising behind-the-scenes story of how it really came about.
If you can't hear what I'm trying to say,
The blockbuster of this summer 2013?
maybe I'm going deaf.
Well, it's got to be Robin Thicke's hit song, Blurred Lines. But rewind a quarter of a century ago and remember this?
Tonight on The National, the great one's going. Wayne Gretzky has tears for Edmonton as he heads to L.A.
This was the blockbuster then. And believe it or not, there's actually a real connection here. But to understand that connection, you have to go back even further. To the friendship between the great one, Wayne Gretzky, and Robin Thicke's dad.
Let me get comfortable here. You know how I love these stories.
That's right, Alan Thicke,
I bet you ran into those darn gypsies again.
actor, song and dance man, that voice. And of course, hockey superfan.
I am coming out with my own line of hockey products. By the way, I know that the lunch pails and the dolls are selling like hotcakes. How are the hotcakes going?
Like lunch pails.
Like lunch pails, sure. Well, you'll get some competition this year from the Michael Jackson Hockey Glove.
The two guys clearly very comfortable with each other, pals back in the 80s, long before hockey was cool in California.
Well, he's got all the moves now. That's all you need.
When I got here, nobody was going to hockey games in Los Angeles. It was literally like the old joke, you call and say, what time's the game start? And say, what time can you be here? I think maybe coming from Kirkland Lake, I felt a responsibility to promote hockey in my new environment.
And part of that meant introducing a young hockey phenom around town.
And after that, whenever the Oilers came to LA, they would call and look for something to do. Some of them were looking for clubs and bars and crazy places. And Wayne was interested already in peeking around at show business to see how that worked.
Still, life was good in Edmonton. Very good. 4 Stanley Cups in 5 years. Besides, the Oilers without Gretzky. Gretzky without the Oilers. Without Canada?
You know, I knew Wayne a little bit. He would stay in Los Angeles during the off season. And every time I would see him, I'd kind of, hey, Wayne, how about coming to LA? And he'd always like, yeah, right, not going to happen, bye-bye. Of course, it wasn't up to Wayne. You know, players are not, are items owned, if you will, by their owners. But the possibility of LA, I think, in some ways was somewhat attractive to him. And obviously, when he began getting more involved with Janet, that didn't hurt.
Janet Jones, movie starlet, and by July of 1988, Wayne Gretzky's bride. And that glamorous Edmonton wedding, shades of a Hollywood script, complete with some behind-the-scenes maneuvers. That summer, the Oilers' Peter Pocklington was secretly reaching out to the Kings' Bruce McNall.
Well, Peter called me. I said, you know, if you're really serious about getting Gretzky, let's talk. So I was pleasantly shocked, I guess is the best word for it.
Among the few who had a front row seat to the whole unfolding drama, Craig Simpson. Back in 1988, just a baby-faced new Edmonton Oiler.
Well, by winning the Cup, we were able to all get a flight anywhere in North America. And so Wayne, as he always does, says, oh, why don't you come down to LA? You can train down there and we can play some golf and have some fun. I landed in about August 6th or 7th, I believe it was, in LA. And At that time, there were some rumors and there was some talk about a potential trade, and everybody was, in disbelief that it would ever happen. And I remember Wayne picking me up at the airport, and we talked about it on the way to Janet's condo. And I realized at that point, boy, this is a little bit more than just rumors. There's some heat to that fire.
Wayne was running around a lot and busy, and I don't think he really thought at that early stage that the trade was really going to happen. So I had a little difficulty initially reaching him.
When we got to Janet's condo, the old days of technology, there was just the old answering machine where you press the button, press play, and the very first message came booming out, and it was Bruce McNall's voice and saying, Wayne, there's been a lot of progress. It looks like there might be a deal to be done, and he went through what was in the deal, and I sat there just with my mouth open looking at Wayne going, you got to be kidding me.
As reality began to settle in, Craig Simpson joined Wayne Gretzky and Janet Jones as they drove to help a friend.
I was traveling in Norway with my eldest son, and Wayne was house sitting with Janet at my home in Toluca Lake with my 10-year-old, Robin.
That's right, that Robin Thicke, the same kid who's grown up to become a music superstar of today. Wayne Gretzky was his babysitter. Talk about blurred lines.
Finally, I called Alan's house, and Robin Thicke answered the phone because Dad was gone. And I said, Robin, is Wayne there? And he said, yeah, I think so. I'll go get him or something. And I said, he said, what's going on? I said, well, we got him, Robin.
We got him. The LA Kings got Edmonton's. No, they got Canada's Wayne Gretzky.
We had gone out to dinner, and there's so many rumors going on. Was the trade going to happen? When was it going to happen? Did they need to announce it? I woke up in the morning, and Janet said, Wayne's gone.
I picked up the morning paper in Oslo one morning, and I saw all these photographs of Wayne Gretzky, and I thought, oh my goodness, what has happened? So I phoned home, and Robin answered the phone, and my brother Todd snatched the phone away from him at that moment, and he said, you gotta come home right away. There's helicopters, there's paparazzi, there's people at the gate. Gretzky's been traded.
Overnight, the hockey landscape changed. Or had it? Nope, there was one last scene in the Hollywood drama to be written.
Testing 1, 2. Okay. Excuse me, gentlemen, if we could have your attention just for a second.
We apologize for the delay, but I'm sure you appreciate people have been flying in from different cities.
McNall had flown in with Gretzky from LA thinking he had a done deal.
Until we landed in Edmonton for the press conference, and Peter Pocklington and Glenn Sather said, we'd like to talk to Wayne privately. I said, oh my God, now what's going to happen? So once again, I thought, I'm going to lose the deal.
And in California, at Alan Thicke's house, suspense too. They were left in the dark.
There was nothing on TV in Los Angeles. There was no 24-hour sports like you have today. So we couldn't even watch the press conference in Edmonton. And we sat out by the pool at Alan's with a speakerphone going on. And Walter and Phyllis had the phone in Brantford on the TV.
Finally, after an excruciating 45-minute delay,
I approached Mr. Pocklington and talked to Mr. Pocklington about the possibility of playing with another hockey club. Decided that for the benefit of Wayne Gretzky, my new wife, and our expected child in the new year, that it would be beneficial for everyone involved to let me play with the Los Angeles Kings.
well, a couple of bombshells in there. Not just that a Gretzky baby was on the way. Wayne Gretzky said the whole trade was his idea. That's something history has revealed to be a bit of a gray area, actually. But McNall was right on one point. The deal almost unraveled at the very last minute.
Just before the two of you walked out onto that stage at the press conference tonight, well, you must have looked at him and thought, I could still head this off.
Well, in fact, before the press conference, I spent 5 to 7 minutes alone with Wayne and said, Wayne, it is not too late. You can say no now. And Wayne thought about it and said, no, there's a time in people's lives and people's destinies that maybe it's time to move on.
As I said, there comes a time when when
I had a chair behind Wayne, and when Wayne started to get emotional, I got up from my chair and said to Wayne, "Come sit back here," which he did. I mean, it was a big emotional moment for him.
I think the tension of, whose fault was it or who asked for a trade was the most difficult thing for Wayne to handle. I think that's when the emotions really got the best of him there.
It was a bit of a circus at my house. I mean, this became an historic milestone location for a national disaster.
But what was seen as a national disaster in Canada was a boon for Southern California.
Number 99, Wayne Gretzky.
With Gretzky now the toast of LA, Kings ticket sales soared. And several seasons later,
Gretzky, sharp angle, scores!
the team actually challenged for a Stanley Cup. Of course, LA were champions finally in 2012, but that's a victory some would count among Gretzky's long-term legacies. Alan Thicke is still probably the biggest Canadian hockey fan in LA. He still even laces up the skates every now and then.
We actually do play hockey around here, as you would guess from a rather generous collection of sticks.
And he still talks with enormous pride about what his friend delivered to the USA.
There was no perceptible hockey in LA, certainly not the kind of excitement that we enjoy in every Canadian city. But Wayne changed all that overnight, immediately. Rinks sprang up all over Southern California. Another team came in, too, San Jose and the Ducks.
Hey, how are you?
Very nice to see you.
Nice to meet you as well.
McNall's heyday in hockey ended badly with criminal charges, but he still enjoys the spotlight now and then, always happy to share it with the next generation of potential hockey greats.
It's an amazing feeling to look out and see these kids, at these young kids playing hockey here all around Southern California area. 25 years ago, we had a little something to do with it.
But maybe the biggest legacy of the famous Gretzky trade, the old romance of hockey was finally replaced by the business reality.
It changed the way players dealt with teams. It changed the way the business of the game was, because I think all of us as players in the National Hockey League at that point went, oh wow, if you can trade the game's best player in the world, you can trade anybody.